Coming up next, how COVID-19 gave a man a new career, and we're going to talk about the source of your relationship struggles and how that affects your career journey. We'll take your calls as well right now. I am coming to you live from our Ramsey Studios in Nashville, Tennessee, and you are joining a conversation about who you are, what you were created to do, where you want to do that, and how you get there. It is about your purpose in and through your work. You were created on purpose. You were created to fill a unique role in the marketplace, and you're tremendously valuable because of that. Now, that's not to make you feel all warm and fuzzy. It's to point out that you actually have a duty to be you. If you were created on purpose to fulfill a purpose, you have to do it. And so we want to take the view of work, which so many people grow up with and live their entire life with the worldview that work is just something that we do to be able to live, to be able to take care of our basic necessities and maybe have some fun and make some memories if there's some left over. This struggle with work is always just this, I have to kind of work, as opposed to the worldview that we share here on the Ken Coleman Show, which is you actually live to contribute, to make the world a better place. And a big way that you do that is through your work. The other major way is through our relationships. So if you look at relationships and work, that is where and how you contribute. And so I'm on a crusade, folks, to create a revolution, a positive revolution, not a political revolution, a purposeful revolution, to get men and women, parents, teachers, leaders, politicians, to start to look at work as the way we make our world a better place, and it's no longer this slog through the week. You shouldn't be miserable on Mondays. You should be motivated. You're motivated because you're using what you do best to do work you love, to produce results that matter to you. That is purpose, meaning, significance. And when you achieve that significance, that sentence I just described, success comes with that. Satisfaction comes with that. So chasing significance is the goal. And we want to help you do that. 844-747-2577 is the phone number to jump in. It's a caller-driven show. And we are loving this audience here on YouTube as we live stream to you Monday through Friday at 12 Eastern Time. Subscribe if you haven't. That helps us grow, and we are growing. Share the show if you haven't. And then hit that thumbs up right below me right now, or anytime during the show. It just takes a millisecond, and all of that helps us grow, and we're growing because of you. Thank you. So I love to share some good news on this show from time to time, and I saw this story coming out of Kansas City. We've heard a lot about COVID and job loss. How about COVID and job creation? We've heard a lot about COVID and dreams being delayed. How about COVID and dreams being launched? Great story. This comes to us from the NBC affiliate in Kansas City, KSHB. Kansas City man loses job but gains new career. That's the headline. Craig Boyle worked for an indoor amusement park in Johnson County. And of course, amusement parks were one of the first businesses to shut down. On his actual birthday, he was laid off, so he needed a new gig. Quote from Craig, "It kind of clicked in my head, and I was like, you know what? I've been trained in fogging. I'm knowledgeable of the products. I could do something with this." He had been using fogging machines to clean the indoor park. He knew what he needed, where to get it, so he launched his own fogging business. He originally had a different name, but when he got his first customer, the customer said, "What the fog?" as a joke, and it stuck. So the fogging process includes a layer of disinfectant and then a microbial layer, which keeps killing the virus for weeks. Boyle said, "We worked really close with the EPA in finding the right products. We found something that's food safe, EPA registered, yet FDA approved as kid safe and pet safe." And so he has all kinds of clients, like Bringing Therapy Home, which provides therapy services for children at its 2 different locations. And so the owner said, hey, I want to bring your foggers in because this is helping us feel safe and our clients be safe. And so Boyle says, hey, I don't see this need fading away even after the pandemic. Overall, it is about cleaning and it is about health, safety. And now the business is growing. His brothers have now started franchises in other states, and he's already preparing to hire more staff in Kansas City. Now, here's why I love that story. So Craig Boyle gets laid off, and he goes, I've got to get another job. I got to keep moving. What does he do? He looks to where he has some experience, where he's got some talent, where he's got maybe an edge. And he says, I already do fogging for my current job that I just got laid off of. Now, nobody's coming to the amusement park, but other places need to keep their indoor facilities safe and healthy. I can take my knowledge, my expertise, and start a business. And he did, and it's booming. What a wonderful, wonderful story. He didn't get down. He got busy. And that works whether you're in a pandemic or not. Way to go, Craig. Inspiring so many people. 844-747-2577. 844-747-2577 is the phone number. We'll take a few questions from the chat room each show. So go ahead and fire those away in the chat window that you see next to the video. And they'll come right to my computer. We'll get to a couple of those if time allows. But first to the phones. Lauren joins us in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Lauren, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate your time.
You bet, Lauren. What's going on?
So, a question for you. I've actually found my dream career. Mm-hmm. I currently work for a large university and love the role that I'm in. Mm-hmm. Although I love my career, I do have the desire to move somewhere else, whether that's just another university or college in my same city or a whole new city altogether.
Okay.
I can't really see myself in the same job in the same place for a long period of time. So my question is this. Is there an issue with changing jobs every 3 to 5 years?
No.
I don't want to seem like a job jumper, but I also don't want to be held in one place for a long period of time.
Nope.
Would love your thoughts.
No, you're not a job hopper. You know what you are?
What?
You're a climber. You're a climber.
That's true.
I know. So what do climbers do?
They want to experience new things, more learning opportunities, and that's kind of what I'm going for. But
they climb.
I just didn't.
They climb.
Yeah, that's true.
They climb.
Yeah.
They climb. And are we impressed with people who make positive forward moves in their life, or are we wary of them?
I would say we're impressed with them.
Of course we are. I think if you were doing it every 6-8 weeks, we have a problem. In fact,
right.
It's not a question of that you have a problem. You would have a problem. But every 2 to 3 years, you're moving up the ladder. Somebody's going to see that and go, this gal's a rock star. I need to know more about her. She's impressive.
Okay.
Yeah, you're a rock star, Lauren. Don't even question that anymore. I love the question. I'm actually really glad you asked it because we're 3 years into the show. And I've never had a caller ask that specific question the way you asked it, because you said every 3 to 5 years. So you have, in my mind, I think you've got a real grasp of what it's going to take to move up. You're going to have to own it and win the now, or there is no next. But I absolutely think it is healthy for you to try to expect movement every 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 years up. Absolutely, I see that. In fact, that's what I would prescribe for you. So you're awesome. Way to go. Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Hey, inspire some other people to do that.
I will.
You know what, though? Hey, before I let you go, though, I love to dig. I love to dig. You know this. You've been listening to the show enough to know that I like to get behind the question. I am curious because I think you're totally healthy, and I think you're on the spot. You're absolutely where you need to be. Why did you feel the need to ask me that? What were you worried about? I'm curious. What was the emotion or the doubt or the fear behind that question?
Well, so the university I work for currently, I have climbed my way to the dream career that I'm currently in.
Yeah.
I've only been in this role for 1 year, so switching to another university to do the same position, but, just, a change of scenery, a change of pace or something, maybe a promotion up. I guess that's why, because my current university, I worked there for 5 years, but have been in 3 different roles. I'm slowly building my way to where I wanted to be. And now that I'm here, I guess I'm just second guessing myself. Like, should I be moving positions so, frequently or whatever? But,
got it. What is the dream?
That's kind of where it comes from.
What's the dream position?
So I'm an academic advisor, and I absolutely love my role. I love helping students, but I think sometimes I'm just like, I'd love to experience another university or another city, something like that.
Yeah, I don't see any problem with that, but I do want to challenge you on something. So I'm actually glad I held you on the line.
Okay.
I have no problem with you wanting to change universities for scenery, changing cities because you want to experience more of life. Like, that's really cool. There's nothing wrong with that. So don't hear what I'm not saying, if that makes sense. However, how does an academic advisor truly expand the vision? So you have now reached the top of your mountain. You're like Sir Edmund Hillary. I talked about this on yesterday's program. You reach the top of Mount Everest, and when he gets up there, he's quoted as he looked at another mountain that he saw, and he said, I think that's possible. So you've been looking up, right? And then you finally get there. What do you do when you're in stage 6, which is get your dream job? All right. And so stage 7 is give yourself away. So you stay in 6 and 7 the rest of your life in the sense of, I'm in the dream job, I'm doing it, but I now want to expand the dream. So my only challenge to you is you've kind of said, well, I just want to change scenery as it relates to location of work, that's the university, and location where I live. That's a different state, different city. Again, nothing wrong with that. However, how does an academic advisor truly expand her influence? Because at this stage in your dream job, Lauren, what really is going to drive you outside of change of scenery is going to be influence on people, impact of results. Am I right?
Right.
So how do you expand that? That's the question. You don't have to answer that today, but I'm saying it's more than just changing and getting variety in your life. Because after a while, I can just feel this about you, and this isn't a negative, this is a positive. I don't think changing scenery will be enough. I think you're going to have to go, where does an academic advisor go? I'm still in the dream, and it's really the role of advising. That's what you love. Okay?
Right.
So how do you expand that? Influence through advising and results through advising. That's your homework assignment, because you're going to need to answer that eventually. Trust me. All right?
All right. Awesome. Thank you.
You rock. Thanks for calling. 844-747-2577. Let's go to Kalamazoo, Michigan, where Ron is on the line. Ron, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. Thank you for having me.
You bet. How can I help?
Well, I'm a teacher by profession, and I just started my 13th year at a new district after relocating, but I'm finding myself to be incredibly miserable in the job, even though I'm very good at what I do and have been very good the last few years. I've trained myself to move into administration, but I guess I'm struggling how to, move into some of these other aspects that I'm interested in.
What are those aspects?
Well, I've been very good at mentoring and coaching. I've actually coached teams in the last few years, but really helping people grow in their own, development and even advising or doing some of those pieces as well.
Yeah, good. I love this because you're clear. And so we have to figure out how you move into that. I do want to ask before we get into plotting your next steps, what's the part that's making you miserable? I want you to be very specific and think of it this way. The stuff you're doing during the day that you know drains you. What is that? Can you list that out for me?
Absolutely. First and foremost, I'm driving 2 hours pretty much, an hour there and an hour back.
How much? 2 hours, you said?
Yeah, so an hour to school, an hour to back, just because of my current living situation.
Yeah, well, that'll drain anybody. Okay, what else?
And then, you tag that in with the current kind of COVID procedures that we have to do. I'm usually a handshake, high five kind of guy, and wearing the mask and not being able to do some of those things that I normally do has been very challenging for me as far as building relationships with students and kind of really promoting a positive culture within the classroom. So that's also been challenging for me. as well as just kind of the normal paperwork and, having virtual students and also having students in the classroom makes things a little more challenging as well.
Okay, so here's what I wrote down is what's draining you. This is the part you don't like. The 2-hour commute, the COVID restrictions / challenges, and then the bureaucratic administrative part of teaching that comes with public schools. Am I right?
Correct. Yes.
Right. And so now we know that you still love education and you love the space, the sector. So you want to add, well, here's what we want to do. We want to fix the 2-hour commute. And we want to figure out a way to maybe do less of the bureaucratic stuff. And we want to add in, beyond instructing, we want to add in mentoring, advising, coaching. Do I have it right?
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Okay, good. So let's address the stuff let's address the negative stuff. The 2-hour commute. You're going to have to move. Now, I know that when I say that, there are a lot of factors involved, but you're a sharp guy. You just have to answer the question, what must be true for me to be able to move closer? Now, the other option is that you would then not move. You'd stay where you are, but then you're going to move to a school system where you live now. I mean, I think it's 50-50, right?
Right.
So what's the best option for you at this point in your life?
So my challenge right now is that we just relocated from Tennessee to Michigan, and I'm actually waiting for my house in Tennessee to sell and go through the closing pieces, but I need that to happen until I can actually purchase a house in Michigan. So we're currently with my parents, and that's part of the drive there.
I got it. Okay, but that's what I need to know, okay, so I can walk you through this. So when your house sells in Tennessee, then you can actually purchase a house or rent a house where you are currently employed. So that would take care of the 2-hour commute, correct?
Correct. Part of it, yep.
All right, great. Check. That's going to happen. So this is all mental now at this point, because so is the COVID. Hey, dude, there's nothing you're going to do about this. There's nothing you can do to change all this mask stuff. And dude, this Michigan governor, I got to tell you, we live in Tennessee. You know what it's like. The Governor Lee versus Governor Whitmer is like two different planets you guys are on, what we're on. So you can't control that, is my point. So that's a mindset thing. So is the being patient on the house selling thing. These are things you cannot control. They're eventually going to take care of themselves. Until then, you're just going to have to get over it, just like you'd have to tell your kid. You know what I mean? You do what you have to do so you can do what you want to do. The bureaucratic stuff, I don't think that goes away if you change from a public school system to a private school system, would be my guess. It's the only way that really goes away. So that's going to be another mindset issue. But you can get over it if there are parts of, I get this question a lot, Ron. Hey, Ken, you're always talking about the sweet spot. How much of my day should be sweet spot stuff? What if I got to do some stuff that I can't stand? Well, I think if it's 80-20 or 90-10, 90 stuff that you really love that gives you juice versus drains you, you can handle that, correct?
Yeah, correct.
All right, so that's mindset. So I'm really encouraged for you. The stuff that's draining you, that's all going to eventually take care of itself, and you got to mindset your way through that. All right, now, adding the mentoring, advising, coaching, I got to tell you, I think there's a couple ways you do that, and you can identify whatever I don't come up with. But I think if you move into maybe you add some guidance counseling to your education load. I don't know what that looks like. Could you change your class load to where you're doing some teaching, some instruction, and more advising? Or do you just move into a more of a coach role? So you're in the classroom and then you're on the field or on the court. And as the coach, you can mentor and you can advise. That's all part of coaching. You get to do it in practice and during the game. I think you scratch that itch there. And then the guidance counseling is obviously the option. So I think that's what you do. You've just got to move towards a schedule where you go, I teach this much in the classroom, and then I'm coaching. Or I'm going to move more of the guidance counseling role, more mentoring role. So I think that's the path for you. Don't overthink it. Thoughts? Questions?
I appreciate it. I think, there's some certainly good pieces there. My challenge is being a single parent now, trying to figure out how to, I've been coaching for 20 years, athletic teams, and trying to figure out how to manage that now with my girls as well. So
I get it.
Totally taking time away from them.
Yeah. How old are the girls?
6 and 8.
Yeah. Yeah. The single parent thing is going to be tough. So you're in Michigan now. Is the ex-wife there too?
My wife actually passed away it'll be a year this month.
Oh man,
so,
Ron,
a year ago, which is
Ron,
part
I
of
am
why we
so
relocated.
sorry, brother.
Yeah.
Well, that's a difficult question to ask, and I didn't expect that answer, and I'm really sorry for you. That is going to be tough. That one's going to be tough because you want to, cause at this point, if you had the coaching thing, would your heart be hurting because, it's after school and while you could get care for the girls, it's not about getting care. It's about how's that going to make your heart feel? Have you thought?
Right. And that's really a lot of my dilemma with the 2-hour drive is that I'm missing sections of their life right now just because I'm having to cut that chunk out.
Yeah. Well, they are incredibly resilient, aren't they?
They are, absolutely.
Even with losing mama.
Right.
And so they are 6 and 8. So my advice isn't going to change. You're just in a tough season right now. You're in a tough season. And yeah, I don't know, man. I you do love the teaching. I think we could knock out 2 of the 3 there, the COVID stuff and the 2-hour commute eventually, but that bureaucratic piece, unless you're in the private school system, that's kind of going to always be there. I think maybe you scratch that mentoring, advising itch, maybe. Are your girls thinking about playing sports? Are they already in sports?
Well, they haven't been much this past year. Well,
of course,
I guess the past 6 months. And I've got kind of one that's more sports related and one that's more kind of ballet or dance related, but certainly they kind of have their each little niche there. Yeah,
I think the one daughter that's into sports, maybe you coach her teams and you kind of, until you get a rhythm to where, okay, I can coach and the girls are fine. And then maybe you're only coaching one season of the year. And I just feel the need to encourage you on this because you're going through a really tough situation. If I was in your situation, I would look to try to keep the girls around. Like, let's say, what sport would you coach? If there was only one sport and you go, okay, I could coach this, but the rest of the year I got to be home with the girls. What would be the sport you'd coach?
I've done track and field for 20 years.
Oh, I love that. So that's in the spring in Michigan, I'm guessing?
Yes. Yes, correct.
I think it'd be fun to bring the 6 and 8-year-old to the practice, and they become mascots of the team. I think your students would absolutely fall in love with them. And I think they're there, and you kind of
they've done that for the last couple of years, and they've had a blast. I
think I keep doing that. Okay, so my point is I was trying to figure out, because I think it's important for your soul and your healing that you're coaching soon.
Okay.
Don't you?
There's certainly pieces of it that I really, really enjoy. Absolutely. It's just that I've run up against I don't want it to cut out from my time to be dad with the girls.
I don't think it would.
Coaching other kids to be abandoning my own is kind of what I've run up against.
Yeah, I think you got to decide, and it's okay to wait a couple years, right? If you feel like now's not the right time.
Right.
But I think the 6 to 8-year-olds hanging out with you and seeing daddy do that thing and track and field's a little bit less hands-on, right? And so the girls seeing that and being a part of that and being around you all the time, they just need dad. They just need you. You know what I mean? They need to be around you and see you. And I think that could be therapeutic for you. I would talk to somebody about that and get a second opinion. Maybe even a counselor worth a couple sessions just to go, hey, what do you think about this? I want to be there for the girls. I do enjoy coaching. I'd get a professional opinion on that. But
I appreciate that.
Yeah, listen, brother, I'm hurting for you, Ron. I'm hurting for you. But you sound like an incredibly strong man, and I believe God's got a plan for you. And this thing's going to get better, man. It really is. I promise.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for calling. Wow. Tough stuff there. 844-747-2577. 844-747-2577. Let's go to the chat room here, and then I want to get to our teaching today. I'm really excited about this. For those of you right now that have some tension in your relationships, whether you're dating, you're married, think about maybe parents, family members. I want to talk about the source of the relationship struggle. And then I want to tie that into well, wait a second, Ken, you're here trying to help me figure out what my purpose in life is and then manifest that through my work. What's that got to do with relationships? A lot. So I'm going to explain it. But I think this will be a breakthrough for you. It's been a breakthrough for me in my relationships, my kids and my wife. And again, it doesn't mean that you're never going to have any issues, but it sure does give you some really practical things you can do and seeing struggles or conflict in relationships a little bit differently. So hang on, we're going to get to that. Baseball Freak 5 says, is there an online course academy where I can find a mentor? It depends on how you define mentor. The way I define mentor, I would not go to an online course in a mentor relationship. I wouldn't look for that. The online, I would look for instruction. That's great, but a true mentor is a relationship, and I really believe it's knee to knee. I really do. I think it's huge because, in fact, on my Instagram page today at Ken Coleman, I'm going to pull this up while we're live here because we actually did a post on this. And I've already written this, so I want to look at it. Here, there's 3 key qualities of a mentor. By the way, Nathan, this is kind of fun. We should zoom in on here. Look at that. Right there off the old Insta page. Look at him coming in there. The guy's a pro. Look at that. I ask, he provides. The qualities, how do you like that, Nathan? You didn't even have to throw the graphic on the screen. We're just zooming in. Qualities of a mentor: accomplished. Okay, that means they've got skills, if I could keep the phone from going blank there. And they are understanding. They have a sense of what you're going through, where you want to go. They really understand your journey, and then they care deeply about you getting there. So accomplished, understanding, and caring. You can't get that in some online academy and course. Somebody says, I'm going to mentor you. And so I would look for somebody that's, again, very accomplished. Doesn't even have to be in your field. If they are accomplished in the field that you want to be in and that you're pursuing, that's a bonus. But then somebody that's willing to say, hey, tell me what you're trying to do, why you're trying to do it, where are you struggling, where are you winning? That's that understanding. They understand you. There's enough of a relationship or something that's developed over time. And remember, I talked about this recently on the show. Sometimes mentorships grow over time. So I don't like you going to somebody going, hey, will you mentor me? No, start with, will you meet with me? Will you talk with me? Will you help me? And then as that relationship naturally grows, then it develops into a true relationship, much like dating developing into a relationship. So that's my thoughts there. Okay, I'm going to get out of the chat room here because I really want to get to today's teaching. And this is really important. So what are your relationship fights, quarrels, struggles really about? Wow, Ken, I mean, it's a million things. No, it's one thing. It's actually one thing. What we tend to do when we get into arguments, we go, how do we get in an argument over this little thing or this little thing or what? Why are we arguing about this? And that causes a lot of frustration as well, kind of after the fact, sometimes in the middle of the disagreement. You know, or maybe you got a quarrel with a parent or your spouse, or your girlfriend, whatever the situation is. Even around your career, and we're going to talk about this. We're going to bring this into, hey, I know I'm supposed to do this. This is going to take some sacrifice. I feel like we got to move here. We're going to have to cut our budget here so we can save up to do this. And it creates this tension. And you're going, how is there tension here? Why are you holding me back? Why are you not wanting to make this move so I can pursue my dream? This doesn't make sense. Hello. This happens. The struggles, the quarrels, the tension in your relationship is about one thing: emotional safety. Emotional safety. That's what's going on. They're not trying to hold you back. They're not trying to not cut back on the budget for you to be able to go get qualified to do what you want to do. They're not mad at you because you left your socks in the middle of the bathroom floor. They're not mad at you because you didn't take the trash out. or you didn't answer their text right away. That's not what's really going on. Underneath whatever is going on is that there is no emotional safety, and that's the deeper cause. And so the little things, when they flare up and seem to spark a fire in our relationships, it is because the kindling has all been laid through a lack of emotional safety. And here's essentially what any of our family members or friends, co-workers, when there's a true disagreement and there's some type of argument or tension, do you care about my feelings? I'm afraid I will get hurt. I'm just breaking it down to the lowest common denominator of what's really behind someone feeling emotionally unsafe. So what's the solution to this? Because we tend to get down in the rabbit holes of the details of the argument or the circumstances or the situation of the argument or the long-standing tension. We get in that rabbit hole, and then we get really defensive, and we get hurt, and then we resent, and we got to realize, wait a second. There is a lack of emotional safety in this, that my actions, my decisions are creating. Oh, Ken, I've not done anything wrong. Didn't say you did anything wrong. What I'm saying is that in this relationship, there is not enough safety on both sides. You might not be feeling safe either. Oh, you didn't know I was going to go that way, did you? You thought it was all about the other person. No, it's also about you. You could be feeling a lack of emotional safety, and then you're making some decisions, saying some things, doing some things that then cause the other person in the relationship to begin to feel unsafe. Then they say some things, do some things, and it becomes this vicious cycle. So how do we stop the cycle from spinning around and around and around? We have to be vulnerable, first of all. Starts with us. You got to be vulnerable. You got to be vulnerable to say, this is what I'm thinking and feeling. Do you mean it this way? Or I realize I did this and I said this, and I could see how that would make you feel like I don't care about your feelings, or that I'm putting you in a risky situation and you're afraid that there could be some pain involved. How many times have we had dudes call the show, Joe, where they said, look, I feel like I want to move, and I feel like it's my career. My wife's not on board. Ken, how do I get her on board? You got to make her feel safe. How do you do that? Very simple. I just gave you the two pieces. She's got to know that you care about her feelings. She's scared. She's concerned. She's got to know that you know that she's afraid that this decision could hurt you guys financially, and she's scared. That's what you got to do there. And so there's tension between the two of you because she feels emotionally unsafe. Did you do anything wrong by dreaming? By getting clear and come up with a plan to get there? No. But in your excitement, and boy, I am like the worst at this with Stacy. I'll get way out in front here, and she's going, whoa. She's doing the right thing. I'm doing the wrong thing. I got to make sure that my wife, I've done this with my kids. Oh gosh, I'm learning this one every day. My kids need to know that as their dad, that I'm hearing them, I'm listening to them. Sometimes, folks, I'm going to be really frank with you. I'm a terrible listener. Some of you go, well, Ken, you listen to me really well on the show. Yeah, I know. I feel like I do. But I get into coach and dad mode sometimes, and I don't listen and look for what's really going on in the situation instead of instructing and fixing. Sometimes my kids, my wife, they just need me to listen, period, so that they feel emotionally safe. So I'm pointing this out because we all, as human beings, struggle with this. But it's a game changer when we say, what do we need to do to fix it? How do we solve this Lack of emotional safety. Well, one, we got to be vulnerable. I explained that. Then we got to be accessible to let them know that, hey, well, let's stay in a normal rhythm, that I'm hearing you, that I'm sharing with you my thoughts. I'm not just presenting this beautifully wrapped vision, tied the bow and hand it to you and let you open it. No, I'm walking you through where I'm at, where I'm thinking, and then figuring out where you are and how do you feel about this. That's that accessibility we're talking about. And then just the awareness. Get your antenna up. How are you feeling? You feeling safe with me? You okay? How you doing? Like, this isn't when something goes wrong. This is on a daily basis. Get that antenna up. Start paying attention to everybody in your life and the relationships going, hey, how are we doing? See, and I'll add the fourth thing here, that when you do that, here's what happens. The intimacy returns. And in this day and age with over-sexualized world, I don't want you to think intimacy has nothing to do with sex. Intimacy with friends, and intimacy with your parents, and intimacy with your brothers and sisters, and intimacy with your spouse, and intimacy with your kids. This is about true, raw transparency and vulnerability. And so that intimacy there, where we're close. We're locked up, arm in arm. We're in this together. That is what you're looking for. And when intimacy is healthy and intimacy is regular in our soul connection, then emotional safety is also there. It's like the emotional safety comes with that true intimacy. We can get there. But we got to understand that the source behind tension, the source behind disagreements, is emotional safety. And this is important, folks, for everybody in any situation. But I want to tie it to what we talk about here every day on the Ken Coleman Show. Living and working on purpose. And when we talk about the 7 stages, get clear, get qualified, get connected, get started, get promoted, get the dream job, give yourself away. That's a commitment. That is a very purposeful journey. And when you are in relationship with someone, especially marriages, dating relationships, maybe you're younger and your parents are still very involved in your life, we can't just show up and go, hey, this is this journey and it's going to be really awesome. I'm off. Come on and join me. Sometimes there's some resistance there. And we've got to be able to understand where's the resistance coming from, and it is emotional safety, whatever the relationship is. And when you get that and you address that, then you will find that the journey to purpose and healthy relationships can coexist. So I hope you get that. That's helped me, it continues to help me, and I believe it will help you. Well, Joe, that's it. My time is almost up, but before I let you go, you matter. You do have what it takes. Thank you for joining us. Until next time, this is the Ken Coleman Show. Press on.